You are looking at the updated 2022 Proton X70 MC. And yes, it does look pretty much the same as before, but tell you what, this is a pretty decent upgrade for the C segment SUV. Very minor visual changes on the outside and on the inside side. There is a brand new engine under the hood, and for the very first time for a Geely based Proton model, the engine is locally assembled here in Malaysia as well. So let's take a look at the 2022 Proton X70 MC. There are now 5 variants, starting with the 1.5 standard, going up to 1.5 executive, 1.5 executive all-wheel drive, 1.5 premium, and at the very top, a 1.8 premium. As you can see, 4 out of the 5 variants now use the new 1.5 litre TGDI 3-cylinder turbocharged engine, while only the top of the range model gets the same 1.8 litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engine from before. So yes, you now have 2 engine options for the X70 now. The new 1.5 is the exact same engine already used in the Proton X50 flagship, with the exact same power figures as well, 177 PS and 255 Newton meters of torque. The bigger 1.8 engine is still available, and that makes slightly more power and torque, 184 PS and 300 Newton meters of torque. All that extra power and torque do translate to slightly better performance. So the 1.8 gets from 0 to 100 in around 9.5 seconds, while the newer, slightly less powerful 1.5 gets there in 9.8 seconds. Very small margins. I don't think you'll even feel the difference when you drive the cars side by side. But beyond just numbers, the 1.8 litre, as you know, was an original Geely design engine, while the newer 1.5 was jointly developed with Volvo. So together with the 7-speed wet dual clutch transmission with X70 now, you are getting an exact match from an engine and a transmission as what you can get in a Volvo. But for me, what I think is even more significant is the fact that for the very first time, we now have a Geely/Volvo engine that is locally assembled here in Malaysia. The X50 and X70 from before, all the engines came in a box from China. Here now it's assembled right here in Tanjung Malim. And beyond that, certain parts of the engine is actually manufactured here as well. So it's not just a straight up assembly, it's really manufactured here in Malaysia. I think that is a significant step forward for the Malaysian automotive industry. But all that is under the skin. What you can physically see with your eyes are a lot less, exciting. This isn't called a facelift. Proton just calls it an MC, which is a minor change, and it really does not get any more minor than this. At the front, the grille is exactly the same as before, but the inserts are now painted in quartz black or gloss black. The same treatment is also used under here, on the front bumper garnish. So yeah, and that's about it for the changes at the front. But the biggest visual change is the wheel over here. This is a new design for the 19-inch wheels for the premium variants. But of course, this is not the first time we are looking at this design. This is the exact same wheel fitted to the 2021 Proton X70 SE, limited edition of course back then. Now we get the same wheel for the 2022 range. And not to forget, these are the same wheels taken from the Geely Boye Pro in China, and that was launched in 2018. So yeah, not exactly a brand new wheel either. Also, for the 2022 X70, all the mirror caps are now painted in black. The quartz black theme is extended to the rear as well. The quartz black garnish over here, as well as this entire diffuser kit, is all finished in gloss black compared to silver from before. But beyond that, yeah, There's really not much else that is different over here. Those of you who are more eagle-eyed may also notice a different exhaust pipe shape for the 1.5 litre variants. If you see through the pipe finisher, the 1.5 litre has this rather weird flat exhaust pipes compared to the round ones for the 1.8. That is quite interesting, I think. So obviously, in terms of looks, this is a little bit underwhelming for most people. The X70, the 2022 version that you see here, is pretty much identical to the initial launch version way back in 2018. So over 4 years, usually we'd get a midlife facelift, but over here, it looks pretty much the same as before. We are not getting the much more unique looking Geely Boyer Pro version, because even in China that is considered a whole different model. They are still selling the Boyer, as you see over here, in China alongside that model. Plus, I don't think Malaysians are ready for an even more premium price X70. Would you pay 140,000 ringgit for a Proton of this size? Yeah, I don't think we're there yet. On the inside, it's more of the exact same thing again. The dashboard is unchanged, the seats are the same as before, the steering wheel, the controls, pretty much everything is unchanged. The only thing that has changed is the headlining, which is now finished fully in black instead of tan or beige from before. I do think this gives it a more premium feel overall, although you will lose a little bit of the airy, spacious feel, especially in the back. Personally, what I think is a little bit disappointing is the fact that the head unit is exactly the same as before. So this is still the older version of GKUI, whereas pretty much the rest of the Proton range, the Iris, Persona, even X50 is now running the updated EcoTech Atlas OS. So yeah, you are buying the most high-tech, most expensive Proton, the flagship X50, and yet you're getting an older system. Yeah, doesn't sit right with me. But before you think I'm just hating on the X70, I'm not, because I still think this is a fantastic interior for the price and especially for the class. I think this is a much better built interior compared to a Honda CR-V. There's way more quality plastic, soft touch materials in here compared to the Honda, and all the buttons, even the screens, do work better than what you get in a much more premium priced Honda, for instance. And of course, the biggest difference for me are the seats. The seats are just so much more comfortable than what you get in most of its alternatives. They are also covered in super smooth Napa leather, which is something that you won't get even on a Mercedes-Benz that's double, triple the price. This really is the best seats you can get for the price, bar none. You also get a fantastic set of seats in the back here as well. It's just so nice and supportive, so nicely shaped. So you can sit here all nice and natural sitting position, your feet on the floor, your thighs are not hanging, the seat squab is nice and long, high enough from the floor. This is just a really good rear sitting position. You can also recline the rear seats. Again, it's Napa leather, quality here is good as well. I've got nothing to complain about really. Of course, the Honda CR-V is a lot more spacious than this, but I think, I don't know, unless you are like 7 feet tall, you are not going to find this place cramped at all. So that's all for the 2022 Proton X70 MC. As you can see, it looks pretty much the same, but it does have a new heart under the skin. So what do you think? Do you think this is enough to keep the X70 competitive in the market? Or do you think it's just too small of an update and is just being left behind by the rest of the competition? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, guys, and stay safe, everybody.